Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Hi everyone.
I bet
Sarah.
everybody. I'm sorry. I'm already jumping ahead. I'm sorry. I'm a little
You
emotional.
really did.
Literally.
We pre-discussed what we was gonna say, and I didn't even have. I would just jump right in. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Mako.
Zoe.
I'm Buana.
And we are Worldwide Army TV. So
Yes.
obviously we're all here to talk about the BTS going to the military news, and I'll pass it back to Mimi.
Yeah, because obviously she's going first.
Jumping the gun.
No. It's just it's bull shenanigans. That's what it is. I'm emotional.
Everybody
Okay,
is emotional
okay.
about
I'm emotional.
this. Even people not Army are emotional about this. We've got reporters from all kinds of angles commenting about it, both supporters and
Haters.
commenting about this entire thing. But let's start with the way the concert they did right before the announcement made us feel, and how their
Yeah, that's
ending
good.
comments.
Let's talk about the concert
their ending
first.
comments to us.
Or should we talk about the concert last? Because that's a happy note.
Oh, we can
Oh,
go back
it
to
could, yeah, it could be
So
a
the
back
thing
and
I
forth
wanted
because
to
both
focus-
things were.
The thing I wanted to focus on first was the ending comments on how Hobie started it, how they were saying trust in them. It was a big old secret in the face message from BTS to Army. Trust in us. We will be making music 10, 20, 30 years from now. We will always be here. Just if you have faith in us, then we will be okay.
Trust in us, and what else? What did he say? There's so much that we want to tell you that we just can't. They've
Did he
said
say
that
that
multiple. They've said that multiple times, but he said that again that night. He was like, it's not something we're used to. Not being able to
be open.
That's
to
exactly
us
what he
and
said.
tell us.
To it.
Yeah, he was like, so there's so much we want to communicate, and we just.
And all of Army knows that every concert for the past few concerts has felt like a goodbye concert. Like, is this the last time for a while? What's happening? Why are we crying every single second?
Oh.
So this was another moment of this is a goodbye concert. Another feeling of what is this aura surrounding our celebration being together?
So, you saying that about him bringing that up, I get what he means by this is different for us. We're not used to knowing how to do this. Any major thing with them, they gather and they tell us about it. They tell us about it. They didn't tell us about it that day, but they knew the very next day the company was going to tell them.
And it was the very next day.
Yeah.
Like, what
Just
was
them
their
not being able to
thinking on
tell
Early
that?
morning next day.
Yeah, they've not been able to tell us a lot of things over the years, but when they are ready to tell us, they break the news to us. Not
This
the
was
company.
a really big thing for them.
Yeah, they break the news.
And we could see it in their faces. Now looking back, rewatching the concert as we do, we could see it in their expressions, in their mannerisms, and the way Namjoon spoke to us at the beginning of Young Forever. At the beginning, he literally just spoke the lyrics to us. That was them saying, "Y'all is coming. We're trying to connect as best as we can."
I really wonder what was the final acts on the strings.
So,
go ahead.
As far as military,
Mhm.
okay. So, let me see this thought before I address that. Going, I was mentioned to them earlier that over the years and watching so many concerts and being at concerts, I never realized how the guys ease us into things. During the concert, they ease us into, guys, this concert is coming to an end. Snap out of the euphoria that we have been banging in for the last hour and a half. We're approaching, and they do that for us. I never realized that. They actually, since Permission to Dance, have been easing us towards,
in hindsight, for sure, it's so obvious
of
now.
this huge possibility. Now that jumps me to what you're saying. So most of the theories in society is that, of course, and we've done the same thing. We've gone back and forth with the government of Korea and voicing, and the agency even went and said, hey, can y'all go ahead and make a decision? It's been going back and forth to the point of they just went ahead and made the decision. But I think way back to Permission to Dance, they knew something was going to happen. I remember we said in one podcast, maybe they did X, Y, or Z because they knew potentially we don't want to start something and then have to stop because they knew potentially we are going. They knew either they're going to make the decision or we are going to make it.
So do you think they made that decision around the time they chose to extend Jen's window of opportunity to go into?
You mean 2 years ago when they did them meaning who? The government or the guys?
Yeah, because the government is the only one that can extend that. Can they extend that?
I think
I
was
just don't
under
understand
the
your
impression
question.
that the boys or the company would have put in their request, and then the government would have approved or not.
Okay, so I think when they put in that, because honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with the listeners. I honestly didn't think they was going. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I didn't think they were going. If they were throwing out clues, they was missing me left and right.
Well, here's the thing: they were missing you, but you said it yourself. You said the waters are murky,
very murky,
and they have been. They have been since we started coming out of the pandemic, they announced we've never had a tour like that. They kept calling that a tour. It's been very murky for a long time. The murkiness was them trying to prepare us.
Well, I didn't see that, and that's where it missed me because I felt like the murkiness was politics. In other words,
that's a huge part of it. You were right,
because it was before BTS. There was no exception to the rule, minus the violinists. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about as far as K-pop artists goes. There was no exception to the rule. When it was your time to go into the military, you was going into the military, period. But then BTS came up on the scene. They became these global, worldwide, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden,
it got murky.
It started to teeter a little bit. I, in the beginning, initially thought there's no way they're going to go to the military. They have not made that exception for anybody.
Yeah.
But then, as time went on, I'm like, are they going to go to the military?
So you went all the way back. So let's go all the way back at the beginning, because you got half the side saying they wanted this, and what took them so long to just make the decision. Way back at the beginning, the guys never wanted this. Truth be told, Army. Years ago, Army was the first one to bring that up and approach it with the government about the potential of thinking about whether or not the guys can be. Army brought that up. Then it was kind of not swept under the rug, but it wasn't talked about. Not sternly talked about, but Army brought it up to begin with. Then it was not talked about. Then one of the assemblymen said something, right before the pandemic or what have you.
Our guys have always been, it's
Yeah,
our duty.
exactly.
So when it comes,
so
we're ready.
it was Army that said something, then it was a politician that got up and said something, and then everybody was like,
There's the president.
And then the president started putting stuff in place. Every time our guys mentioned it, it was, when it's time for us to go, we'll go. Minyugi even said, I'm going to go when it's time for me to go. All y'all just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'm going to go when I go.
Right.
Just leave me alone about it. Leave us alone about it. So really, it was never our guys. What our guys, I believe, because what our guys wanted to do was, you have to factor into the equation that South Korea had hinged a lot on these guys. They said it before pandemic, they said it during pandemic, and they pulled it out of them. They hinged a lot on them. And to do that, you got to keep in mind that at the age that they're at, you got to make a decision. What are you going to do about military? If we're hinging a lot on these guys, what are you going to do about military? As an assemblyman, I brought this up X amount of months ago, but y'all want to hinge a lot of stuff on these guys. What are we going to do about it? I was trying to bring up the fact that, hey, they're at that age. We're going to make them go, so let's start making decisions.
Exactly. So
you have to factor in the fact that the Korean government have been, looking at them, anticipating some things from them.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because, our boys held up their end of the
bargain.
They did. 100%. So
I
feel like, anyway, I honestly didn't think they were going. I moved on past it because I got tired of hearing about it, got tired of worrying about it, got tired of thinking about it. And I really did move on. I really did think they had a chance to get away with it. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I really felt like, because literally they will go down in history. They are 100%.
So bring it down to the fact of what is worth exemption, and what
there can be nothing worth exemption.
No. Well, I'm glad y'all mentioned that, because now let me hit y'all with two things. First of all, the popular opinion in South Korea is not quite what we thought. It was leaning more on the side of leave them alone, think about our economy. But those that were not leaning on this were very vehement about it. They were just very, and it makes a huge impression upon decisions. Even though they may have been the 40% or the 38%, the way they went at it, that makes a huge impression.
Yeah, so, because we know that the wealthy are very good at getting out of the military. And we know that certain members of that community are very good at getting out of the military. But be damn if our boys do it.
So here's the thing. With that in mind, because now the guys have said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah.
It has brought up the talks of relooking at the exemption, relooking at Olympians being exempt. Like if y'all couldn't make the decision and let BTS stay,
why are these others exempted?
That's what the main discussion is now.
In hindsight, I kind of started thinking about this only today, even from a conversation me and Buana had in the car about how, obviously I'm not going to name no names because I don't really know anything, but how some powerful celebrities, etc., in Korea get some of their power and support from, higher powers in Korea, from people with money, etc. And BTS is so different because they did it all by themselves.
From their own bootstraps.
It does make me wonder if part of the decision was that BTS wanted to go on their own terms and owe nothing to nobody in return.
Like they've been doing all their career.
Exactly. In return for the exemption, because I can definitely see, and of course I don't know if this is the case, but I can definitely see if some politician, because this is just how politicians are, helped them get exempted, that they would suddenly, would suddenly act like they,
So instead of a contract with just HYBE, they'd have a contract.
Exactly, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
And if that was the case, and I'm very happy they're going to.
That makes me feel better about it.
Think about two things. The country, we just talked about the country hinging some things on these guys. Right before pandemic, during pandemic, and of course coming out of pandemic. So that's the country. HYBE changed over in the midst of going into a pandemic.
Yeah.
HYBE was not ready to lose the revenue of BTS. So you got HYBE looking at you going, hey, let's wait and do these things, put these things in place, and allow us to put these other groups in place. Let's wait and let's see what the government. So you got the government trying to make a decision, what the government is looking for you to do, and you got the company actually saying, we are not actually revenue ready to lose you. Give us time to put these things in place. So let's just see what the government is going to do. Because you have BTS, you have the 7 members actually saying, when it is time for us to go, we're going to go.
Yeah.
But then you got those two entities, the government and the agency, that's not ready. They're looking for things out of you. And the fact that we've never had to depend on, but now y'all are trying to depend on us.
Can you imagine the weight of that?
That's what we said a few podcasts ago.
I know, but
just the gravity of the weight of, and having to do a whole 360. What they tell us when the Permission to Dance era began. We talked, and the guys decided to make a decision that's going to benefit the company.
I just wanted to go back to us and them again. I just seriously.
They were certainly safer when it was just us.
I don't think any of us, including the boys, intended things to take this turn. And I don't think that even Big Hit, back when it was Big Hit, really intended things to take this turn either. It's just kind of unfortunately where we are right now. And I think the military news punched me in the gut, but I think what actually hurt more was we have been raised as Army to hear everything from the boys first.
The delivery.
And we always expected that if this was going to happen, because this was always a possibility.
Yeah, but this was a big deal for Army.
That's true.
And this was a big deal for them.
We always expected them, to sit us down and tell us the news. So
why were we not?
So, you are BTS. And you've been waiting all this time and being patient all this time and doing what is asked of you all this time. Now you bring upon 2030 World Expo. And you're looking at the world to look at us and us to back this and us to back FIFA. So they've got the World Expo campaign. They've got
where does FIFA come in? The World Cup?
Yeah. So that is the World Cup, isn't it?
World Cup FIFA, soccer.
Yeah. So, they're promoting that also. There's already been more than one commercial, more than one advertisement with them. So those green jerseys you've seen them wear, that is promoting the word. That is
the word. Okay.
So they just immediately started the campaign for the 2030 World Cup, 2030 Expo, and for FIFA. They just started it, but as soon as it started, they dropped the bomb. They didn't give enough after effect of them to bask in the glow of what the Busan concert brought about. It brought about so much. Look, and the world looking at us, and they're looking at us, and look at what we did, and look how many streams, and look how many guests we brought in, and look how many. They didn't let them bask in that glow at all. They didn't even let the FIFA campaign get good up and running before they dropped the hammer and said, "Guess what? We're going."
But what's your point?
Well, first of all, just as a side note, thank you, Army, for all the fan cam. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I brought that up because it was something Mimi said right before I started saying that. But my actual point with that is the fact that, again, with them, they making the decision. They made the decision. The decision approaching Busan, I believe, was already made. And when I say approaching, it was probably maybe a week ahead of. Or think about the dinner. Because they didn't change anything as far as working on their solo projects. They are still going to do them.
They definitely knew
what
by
they
the
told
dinner,
us in the dinner.
hindsight.
Exactly.
Yeah, they definitely knew by then.
They knew at
they were
the dinner.
easing us into it.
And that whether or not the government made the decision or they made the decision, that wasn't going to
We're
change.
talking about 2025.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2025.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, but so, okay. What do we think that is going to look like, feel like, be like? Them going into the military?
I have no freaking idea because, as I was saying in the car, I don't know what they're going to be allowed to do in terms of communicating. If they do communicate, are they only allowed to speak to their family? Are they allowed to make any public statements? That's the thing.
I don't think they're going to, beyond the accommodations that they've already said, which solely would benefit the economy of Korea. Beyond the accommodations that the government and the military has already said, I don't think they're going to make any accommodations. They're not going to let them come to Army and show them, hey, we're doing okay. They're not going to let them. The GD couldn't do it. No, nobody else did it.
Yeah,
nobody
but GD
else
wasn't
did
holding
it.
up.
This is what I'm saying, but they're not.
The country by its bootstraps.
It took them this long to. They didn't even make the decision. They didn't even. The boy will be
here's what I
30
know.
in a few months.
Here's what I know. If somebody knows somebody in the political arena, here's what I know. I promise you that if our boys go into this military and they are in any way, shape, form, or fashion mistreated, violated by their privacy, whatever the case may be, you are going to have more on your plate than you are willing to deal
Army
with.
is going to dismantle the army.
It's
everything.
The reality of it is it's going to happen. I don't know on what scale it's going to happen.
But that's what
it's
I'm saying. Like
going
they
to-
have to have. You have to know this is not just an average person going into the military.
You're right. You're right.
But GD was big. But we're talking about.
Yeah, you're right. So here's the thing. Let's talk about what we talked about earlier. The glaring thing that we weren't privy to was that the citizens of South Korea do not see BTS and their power. And this may be another reason why BTS, we say all the time, they don't know how much power they have. They don't see BTS. They don't see the overwhelming power they have on the world, or the power that the world holds that has to do with Army and BTS.
Or they just think of it from one aspect, which is economics.
Yeah, that's all they see. They know economically these guys have helped them, but they don't look at the brass facts of it. They don't look at the details of it, because the way we get inundated with news about our guys, they don't.
Right.
They don't have the articles. They don't have the news broadcasting. They don't have CNN
Right.
broadcasting. You know, our CNN, the BBC, everybody broadcast. But in South Korea, as netizens, they do not have that as a whole. You know, mom and pop on the corner that own that store, they don't have it. They don't know it.
Yes, but so outside of Korea, what Miyaka said will happen. We get one inkling. Even if, I feel like if we don't hear from or about our guys, like dead silence for one full year, outside of Korea Army, will embed it. Like they will get inside.
And I
that
feel like
to get
the one
information.
thing that Hybe has held on to is that they know if we don't at least do X, not X, Y, and Z, but if we don't at least do X,
it's gonna be a problem.
Army is gonna go.
Something is gonna happen.
So
we need to know.
I think they will keep us updated on things. If something happens to them, they will put it out there to us in a notification on Weverse. They will tell us this is what Jen has gone into. Now he's transitioned over to. They will update us on things like that. But will any special accommodations be made for them as far as being able to communicate with us? I don't believe. What the accommodation is, if you want to see Army and you want Army to see you, we're allowing you to perform, and that is going to be a plus as far as the government is concerned, as far as the economy is concerned. What they can't do is the boys can't benefit from that financially, but the government can sure as hell benefit from that financially. The country can benefit from that financially. When I said that is going to happen, that's the reality, but I don't know on what scale. They're going to be very careful about. You already have people in South Korea. You already have citizens saying they're going to be safe. Don't worry about them. They don't need special accommodations, which they absolutely do. Now, I will say this.
They don't need special.
I will say this. After what happened with Top, after what happened with GD, after what happened with Taemin, after these things, they did begin to look at should K-pop celebrities be treated or have any kind of separate accommodations? Because when they had to separate GD, that was a big, huge thing.
It was.
Like, why does he have to have? Why can he not have his privacy? He was
because we ain't nobody taking pictures of average Jobo here.
Yeah,
exactly.
So there is a reason. So you pull individuals out of what they've been doing, and to be an idol or a celebrity of any kind, it takes a certain mentality. And to be able to hold on to your sanity.
And not only that.
But then you put them in an environment that can put pressure on their mentality.
Well, not only that, but they breed sasaengs. Like, they breed these people. Like, I'd never heard of a sasaeng before. Until K-pop. And sasaeng is just not this weird girl off in the cut. It's boys and girls. It can be in the military or we know that they're at every level because these people are able to do things average people are able to do unless you know somebody.
Yeah.
So we know that they're at every single level. And if you've got to be kidding me if you think there's no sasaengs in the military.
There are, and on top of that, their privacy is violated now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are filmed now, and it's put out there now
with security.
So as far as being in the middle, they're not going to. So it's going to happen. As far as what extreme it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And yes, Zoe, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Mimi. If Army gets wind of it, it's going to be hella pity captain. It truly is.
The only defense they have is what you mentioned about how Korea isn't informed as much as the outside world is on BTS. That's the only strength they have in their pockets. But America got hackers. America got sasaengs. Like, we will find out one way or another.
It's just mind-boggling how you rely on somebody. You want them to have your back, but you don't have theirs. Like, it's just mind-boggling how self-centered this all is. In regards to not necessarily the boys, but just the way the whole system is set up. And how do you not take into account all the people that came before them? Like at what point did somebody got to die for you to realize that some changes need to be made?
So think about South Korea as a country itself. South Korea is still a baby country.
It is.
They're still a baby country. They have made serious mistakes and are still making mistakes. So they're not crawling anymore, but they're in the toddler stage.
Right.
So you have to think about the fact that they're not going to make a lot of right decisions, and a lot of it is going to be skewed because they're only going by what they know so far. Trying to come out and come into their own it's going to take time as far as South Korea is concerned. It's going to take time as far as their mindset is concerned. They have happened upon one of their greatest exports. They have happened upon something that has put South Korea on the map and put South Korea in the black like they've never been before. Never, ever, ever in the history of their country have they had this opportunity. So it makes sense for them to not be making the best decisions while they are trying to hold on tight to what they're trying to hold on tight to what they have. So they're not making the best decision because they don't want to lose what they've got. They've never had what they've got.
And not only that, but they've never global. Like South Korea is a homogenous country, and they are just recently beginning to see people of different cultures there. But I don't even think it's a concept they can grasp as far as there are entire countries that are dedicated to these 7 boys.
That's what the people for the Busan, from everybody that hit Busan and Seoul, have been saying. That they've been tweeting about that. They've been what is the other thing? Instagramming about. They have been putting out their stories about how they were just the citizens were surprised about how everybody from around the world had descended upon them because of BTS.
Right.
And they were surprised that the citizens were reacting that way. I mean, how could you not know? If y'all look at some of the videos that Busan put out as far as this campaign is concerned, they had hotel rooms with purple curtains and purple comforters and ARMY and BTS laid out everywhere, because you can buy an entire packet specifically for this that was geared towards bringing in or catering to the foreigners that came in.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a shock. It was a culture shock, so to speak, on both sides. For the citizens and for armies that was like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all didn't expect this?
Yeah,
like Vegas expected us to descend upon them, but y'all
sounds like that they didn't expect
the lack of awareness is definitely obviously too little too late, right? Because we already heard before that generally public opinion before all of this was already that, quote, BTS should go, and they had no other reason than that, well, everyone else did, so they have to as well. And we all have talked about before about how in that culture, like, saving face and how you look is a big deal. And I realized, too, that on top of the whole, like, we don't really know if being exempt would have cost the boys, like, some kind of politician's favor or something. But on top of that, we also don't know if they decided to go just to shut everyone up, because think about in the long haul, like, years from now, at least if they go, they can just say, we went, and then nobody brings it up ever again, as opposed to if they were exempted, people probably would have still been bitter about it and bringing it up and complaining years.
It definitely set a precedent.
You have to do that. Yeah,
it definitely
what they
set a
never
precedent.
needed to begin with. What they never needed to be, I'm trying to say this right. What they never needed to begin with were the powers that be in the country. They never needed them, and they still don't.
They still don't.
They still don't. And because we're in that, we never needed that, and we still don't need that. Let's take back control, like they said. Let's take back control everything. We have waited. We did what y'all have asked. We've been as patient and as kind as anybody would expect us to be. But now we're going to take back control and do what we were going to do to begin with, which was we were planning on going anyway. Why would we even fathom in our BTS brain that we would even be exempt? Or that would even be a question? 4 years ago, we didn't even think that would be a question. Before all of this, we knew inside of us. P.D. Bang said, we have been strategically moving up to the mark in the time in which they were going to go. We strategically, to the minute, knew exactly how we were going to handle them going. And now we're going to put that into place.
No, that fell through. It
fell through.
Because
but
they waited.
What he did say was, we have been planning this from the... So they knew. We knew what we were going to have to do. Yeah. But we stopped. We changed. We did what Park Ji-won said they did, which make a decision for the agency. And for the good of the agency and the country.
I'm wondering, when are we expected to get that timeline? Like, when is that going to pop out?
Also, when the hell am I going to get my statement from the actual boys?
Wait, what's the timeline?
Of who's going, when they're going, how long they're going to be there, who's coming out.
It depends on the solos.
That's why I need a timeline. I need a timeline. I need something concrete.
After dropping such a big bomb, how could they not have been saying anything else since then? It's like, it's been a week.
I'm opposite, because I would love a timeline, but I don't want to put anybody under stress of I'm not quite ready with my music. If you are, you go ahead and let the agency start doing for you what you need to do, and then you can go. I don't want to put them under pressure of I'm not ready yet, and they've given a timeline of, okay, after Jin it's going to be Namjoon, after Namjoon it's going to be Jimin, after Jimin it's going to be...
That's exactly what they're doing, aren't they?
Huh?
That's exactly what they're doing.
But we don't have a timeline as to which order. That's what you were saying. You would love a timeline as to which order they're going.
No, not musically. I'm talking about. I need a timeline and who going into the military.
That's what they've said. As they finish their projects, then they go.
So Hobie will be the first one?
No, they haven't given names as to who.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you're asking for.
I need a timeline. I need names.
Yeah.
I need
See, that's why I said
itinerary.
I don't want anybody to feel pressure, because if they put a timeline out there, this one's going this one's going that, and somebody's not ready with their material yet, I don't want them to feel pressure.
I think
to get ready, because
these boys
it's my
been in the
turn
game
next.
way too long. I think they're way beyond that point. I mean, they'll just keep molding until somebody pushed them to go ahead and release it. But the point of the matter is, really, ultimately, I just want them to be safe, and I want them to be mentally okay.
Jeez, yes.
And that's really all I want out of that. You got to do your duty. Do your duty. You got to serve your country. Serve your country. But I just want them to come out of it healthy, emotionally and physically. That's it. That's all I want.
Hold on, Sarah. Sarah, go ahead.
I fully expected also for us to at least get a V Live from someone. God damn it! At some point,
communication from the guys. Like, it's been a week. They need to
maybe they trying to wrap. You know how you cheating on somebody, and you found out through somebody else. And now they too scared to talk to you.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I feel like it is. I felt like they should have said something, but they got caught, and so now it's like, how?
Well, you think
we
you're
know they
scared?
didn't get caught because they said, as you pointed out at the beginning of our podcast, they said the day before it came out, we're not used to this. We want to be able to say,
Well,
so
maybe
they weren't caught. They don't feel
I don't know what they're getting, though. I don't know what feedback they're getting. I don't know what feedback they're getting from Army. Like,
Well, let me tell you what they have that the majority evidently of the citizens of Korea don't bother to look at. They have Weverse to look at. They have that to go back and forth with Army, and some of them still are on their fan cafe. And they go back and forth.
Yeah, I think Jen
K-Army.
posted today.
Yeah, they posted.
So they have. I think they know the feedback from us because everybody is flooding their Twitter. Everybody is flooding Weverse. So
I think the agency is telling the boys that they can't say anything for an allotted amount of time, and I hate that because first of all, we know that the boys would have wanted to tell us before the company. First of all, or at least simultaneously, within hours of each other. Yeah. But the fact that they haven't said anything too, in the fact that they said at the end of concert, like, we wish we could tell you more, I'm just like, what the hell,
how did they get to the... It's like we got this annoying best friend in our relationship. Mm-hmm. That's in all the business.
The third wheel.
Like, go away.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
It's like... for me right now, that is what I'm most upset about, because, like, when you hear news like this, I want to hear from you. Mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I couldn't hear it from you,
wanted us to hear it from them, I'm sure.
Then you should follow up with me.
Yeah, they just need to.
Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, seriously, boys, guys, like, literally, if somebody had, what they gonna do? Fire you? Like, what they gonna do? You go, like, you.
No one can touch y'all. Just do what
like,
you
just
want to
do it.
Just
Make
do
us
it.
just.
And they can say whatever they want on a V-Live. They can say as little or as much as they want. I just want them to come out and address it. Yeah. It's like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we honestly haven't gotten a V-Live or seen their face. We got a V-Live the night of the concert.
Yeah.
And then after the announcement, we haven't gotten anything
from them. And this is huge news. Like, this is the first thing I would expect them to say something to us about.
And this is being managed like you would see other people manage it at other companies. Yeah. It is pissing me off.
That goes back to... my hopes and wishes and dreams when they do reconvene in 2025, and let's get to the fact that nobody knows when this contract is up. When they do reconvene, I don't want them signing another contract. I don't want them. I want them to continue being big hit. They're going to be big hit, but you have to remember, we have to look at the big picture. Hybe put a letter out to their shareholders telling them we are going to be okay. Hybe is going to be okay. Everything we have underneath us, this dot. We are putting things in place. We've already put things in place. We're going to be putting more things in place. So Hybe itself, we're going to be okay. We have to remember that Big Hit is only one of those dots under there.
True.
And Big Hit gonna for damn sure be okay. Because I don't see the boys ever leaving PD Bang. As long as PD Bang has something to do with Big Hit, I think they will always be with Big Hit. But they don't have to be with Hybe. They don't.
Because they're under contract with Hybe and Big Hit.
One is the agency and one is the label.
So that's the question. If they renew, is it a renewal under Big Hit, which is still under Hybe?
They're gonna need a label regardless. So Hybe is the label for Source, and the label for B-Lift, and the label for Big Hit. So if Big Hit decides not to continue having Hybe as their label, they got some folk that will snatch them up as you having a label, But Hybe is always going to have those other. If Source ends up wanting to buy out their contract and move from under Hybe, they can do that. They are a company, they're a corporation, and part of them, only part, guys, remember, Hybe is more than just a label for music. They have gaming, they have education, they have...
Big Hit is under Hybe, cannot survive without Hybe.
No.
You're saying that Big Hit can be taken by any other company? So why can't Big Hit just be their own company?
Because that's not how it was designed to be.
Big Hit is the agency, Hybe is the label. As an artist,
Big Hit created
you
Hybe.
have that it is great for you to have an agency and a label. You don't have to, but you got to have something. They don't have to have
an
Hybe.
Agency and a label, which means if they renew, they need to renew only a contract for just Big Hit.
We said last podcast though, we don't even know who is head of the Big Hit part anymore.
Jesus.
We don't know.
They cross lines, but on paper, I firmly believe Big Hit is that umbrella. They're a corporation that has their hands in a lot of pots, which is also being the label for these music entities. But they are more than doing what they have more than just these music agencies underneath that umbrella. Big Hit is down there and underneath that umbrella, and I just don't want them to continue with Hybe, which I fully believe is doable. I fully believe that it's doable.
Anyway.
So... I really would. I've mentioned this several times. I really would like to just pick the ear of a K-Army and just sit down and talk with them about this stuff, because you've had several. You've had several fan. What's what I'm looking for? You've had several fandoms go through this, right?
Right.
But we have yet to go through this, and it would be nice to sit down and kind of see how they got through that 2 years, and if they were able to do anything for their artists while they were in the military. I do know that one of the traditional things that they do is that the day that artist gets out, they're all there.
They're all there. Yeah.
They're all there to receive him and to welcome him back, I guess, into society.
Yeah.
So 2025, we should make a point to do that.
Yeah, we're going to be in Cobra.
I mean, I've already said I want to go every 2 years. So if we go next year, which is 23, we are due to go back.
We are due to go back to 25.
That sounds perfect.
Go back in 25.
Yeah, I was telling Bawana that the only silver lining in this cloud is the fact that when we go to Korea, we know for sure they'll be there.
We know they're going to be there physically.
We know for sure. But I do wonder if there's things that we can do as their fandom to make it just a little bit easier. I don't know.
I do think something that is at least a nice thought as well is that we do have to remember that ARMY isn't just women. So there's also plenty of like male fans.
Oh, there will be ARMY inside the military.
Yeah, there will be ARMY in there.
Thankfully, there will be ARMY there. There will be somewhere. Cook, chef, cleaning person, I don't care. Bootlicker, who cares?
Yeah.
There will be ARMY there, for sure.
If there wasn't, I would be,
even more
I'd be a
concerned.
janitor. I'd be whatever y'all need me to be.
Heck yeah, wouldn't that be great?
So we are due to be back in 2025.
It'll be interesting to know as we're updated, like where each of them land and what role and what position and what they're doing, so forth and so on.
But I don't know if they would disclose that information just because for their safety.
Well, we knew where GD was.
Okay.
Like when his privacy was, violated. When the articles came out, when they talked about it, when Taman was going through, they talked about they're now in. Even when Sangri. We know
Yeah.
in what area he is in the military. Sangri is now serving here, so forth and so on. They moved him from the prison to the, so forth and so on. So I don't think there would be an issue with at least telling us this is what Namjoon is doing. Now he's moving over to this. And it would be great if 2 of them would land up in the same place, or 3 of them landed in the same
have
place.
office jobs, just sitting there.
I don't
doing
believe
nothing.
they're going to.
No, they got to train. They got to train.
gotta
Yeah, they have to
train.
do boot camp.
They
Like
gotta
I said,
train.
they all have to do boot camp,
And
but
I
then
was
they can
telling
pick their
Bawana
roles.
about the buzz cuts. I'm not ready for that.
Oh my God,
I'm
the
not
bus.
ready
It's
for
gonna be
that.
Look, y'all already taking them into the middle. You're already taking them away from me. Can I petition Iglesias for y'all to leave their hair alone?
We get to see. I mean, there's no. We're going to see them. We're going to see them in buzz cuts. We're going to see them in uniform.
Yep.
We're going to see them. We're going to see them in
Aw.
ways we've never seen them before.
Jeez.
We're definitely going to.
Uniform's
And
fine, but don't touch the
think
hair.
about when that military man comes out.
I really, like Miyaka said, I hope that they come out happy and healthy.
Yes,
At the very
that
least,
is important.
mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy.
So first of all, people, y'all gotta stop and think about the fact that these boys are not going in at top notch mentally ready. They're not, because you can put them through so much in the past
True.
few years. You derailed them.
True.
You kept them from their main source of breath, which is Army.
True.
You took away their final muster this year.
We did.
Had
Because
no
the
muster.
country's preparing for the Busan bid for the 2030.
We've never not had a
We
mustard.
didn't. So they're not going in as mentally as they would have been
Mentally strong as they could've, yeah.
if circumstances had been different. So they better damn well not come out in a worse.
When they come out, they need a very nice and relaxing Boom Voyage on an army island, and then a world tour with us.
Can
in
we build
arenas.
the Army Island while they're away? Like, can we do that in the next 2 years?
That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody can do it, Army can do it.
That's true.
If
I
anybody
know
can
there's
do
an
it.
Army cruise going.
Is there an Army cruise?
There's-
I haven't heard anything more about it. I hope they do get that up off the ground.
Yeah, because it sounds like something I want to be a part of for sure. We're going to need something. It's like an alcoholic all of a sudden getting cut
So,
short.
Let's discuss a little bit about the Busan concert. First of all, everybody in the world knows that the streaming was very, very, very greatly interfered with. But after Army, we love you, reposted it, and we could rewatch it fully without interruptions and everything. What did you guys think about the concert?
Shit.
I
What?
thought they put it was definitely more bang for anybody's buck. Nobody spent a buck.
Exactly.
They put like every possible song they thought they could squeeze in.
Oh, it's so good.
They squoze and it simply
They
became
squoze.
they squoze
I
because
love it.
they knew. They
squoze
knew.
it.
So I mean, we appreciated it. I know I did, but I know everybody's
Gosh,
talking about
finally
Run.
seeing Run.
Can you
Finally
imagine
seeing Run?
their perspective, like performing this and knowing that only they know?
Yes,
What Army does
that
it?
was the
They
thing.
were
So
strong
watching, of
for
course,
us.
I mean, y'all know I've watched it 4 times, but even watching it the second time and then the third time, each time I
You see
watch
it
it,
more and
just
more.
you see it more and more in their face that they already know, and especially with the closing minute, you can see that.
Oh,
My
man.
God, that
It's
had to have
emotional.
been heart-wrenching for them, and then you could actually see it on their face.
But
Now,
they-
what we know now.
So as big of crybabies as our guys are, everybody knows our guys are crybabies. They
Mhm.
cry at the drop of a hat for Army singing happy birthday to them.
Right.
They really did hold it together, and they were so
They did.
strong and brave for us.
They
Mm.
did.
They got through that concert so well for us, and guys, we appreciate it. We know that
They
was
left
hard.
it all on the
stage.
on the stage. Yeah.
But I saw some differences. Let me point out one. Because I've watched it 4 times, I can point out little nuances. We've never seen them just sit with the mic in their hand and their head hung low singing the lyrics.
Yeah.
Jimin did that once. V did it once. We've never
I think
seen.
Cookie.
They did things that we've never seen them do, and they had the weight of everything on top of them, and still pulled it off.
Yeah.
So as well as only they could do.
Namjoon did great. I mean, that just goes.
Oh.
We can sit here and talk for a gazillion hours about the leadership of Namjoon. But that
He is
man
our world
on
leader.
that
He's our
stage
president.
last Sunday just reaffirmed for the entire world the exact kind of leader he is.
Mhm.
He held it together so much. And then their second leader also, Hobie.
Yes.
They all look to Hobie. And as soon as Hobie said something about trust, we're in a time period of trust, they were like, okay, now we can mention at least that. We know we can mention that. So the next person mentioned it. The next person.
And they hung on to that.
They hung on to that.
If I can talk about it, I'm going to talk about it.
They hung on to that. I'm very, so Jen did really good because y'all know Jen is.
Do you notice
Jen
that we
already
talk
go.
like we're in a relationship?
Yeah.
Like literally the way they talk to us and the way that we talk to them.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, don't leave me.
Yep.
You know, baby, I love you.
Yes,
Like, you know,
that's exactly.
No.
have
Even
trust and faith.
even watching them during the concert, we always have conversation. When they say something, we respond. Like we
Literally.
say, no, I feel it's okay. We are just.
What's a low down dirty shame is that they are the boyfriends that communicate with us in a way that a lot of boyfriends the world over just don't do.
Yeah, that's true.
They have that soothing voice or those right words or and they take that time to actually know that I need to construe this in a good way to feed it to
in a good way to feed it to you.
Can we talk about... Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. I was just going to say, with that face and that voice, you telling me to trust you, I
mean, how can I
jump
say
off
no?
this goddamn cliff without hesitation. You asked
There's
me
safety
that.
at the bottom of the cliff. Okay, I'm fine.
Bye. I'm gone.
Goodbye. I've jumped already. As soon as he said trust,
I trust you with everything I have.
Trust you.
I'm not happy, but I'll do.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I
No
am
one else.
happy about. I'm extremely happy about that we did not hear permission to dance at that damn concert.
That's true.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord. I can take Butter. And I mentioned this before. Butter and Dynamite grew on the guys. But I feel like permission to dance, they were just over that, and they knew we were over that. We're actually over the entire era.
Yes, that era doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
I mean, this was for Busan, and they said that a lot. This was not our concert. This was held by others. Mm-hmm. They mentioned that more. They mentioned it before. Namjoon mentioned it when he gave us that big long letter before the concert, and he said, "We're gonna do the best we can. Y'all, please sing along with us."
Yeah, that's why he mentioned it, because they literally had no backing in their vocals. It was just them.
Yeah, please sing along with us. And then we're out of practice. You know, that translates into we're out of practice. We're gonna lose our breath at the end, so we expect y'all to pick the last line up.
I think
V
so laid down once. I don't know. Someone did.
So,
but I love that about the concert, though. We could hear.
Yes,
we could hear all of it.
He knew we would because Army sings anyway.
Yeah,
but he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, we need y'all. But he need y'all."
But in this concert, there was nothing to cover those breaths.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You know, we got to hear. I loved
it.
I love hearing
that was the first. He was the first one to mention, which didn't make sense in the translation, but it made sense now. He was the first one to mention this. It's not just us. There are others. But what I understand about that now is, as V mentioned, this was not our concert. This concert was not put on by us. This concert was put on by others. That's what they meant by that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because V said V is becoming a Jen, I guess. He hung out with Jen too many years now. He said he was concerned. Y'all know we got the tweet from him beforehand, and he said, "Be careful. You know, we're witnessing some things." So as they were coming in that day, they saw armies already out there. Jimin was like, we passed right by y'all.
We were right there.
But
y'all didn't
that's
see us.
when, right before the concert, V reached out and said, y'all, please be careful. I'm seeing some things, please be careful. And he said it again in the V Live. I reached out to Army beforehand because I wanted them to be careful because this is what I witnessed and that is what I witnessed. He said, but it's not us putting it on. If I feel like it would have been different if it had been us, but it wasn't us putting it on.
Which is true, as we know from SoFi.
Yeah.
If BTS, if Big Hit put on anything, we will be safe, we will be accommodated, we will be fed.
Yes.
Anyone else doing it, they don't know how to handle our force.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so can we back again? Let me mention it. Run. Run. Finally seeing that performance. First of all, I knew it was gonna be like that. I knew it just with the hits and the rhythms and the beats,
it was
the
everything.
drops. My baby, V.
Yeah, V just exploded in there.
He
exploded. It was like he exploded in there. And we know that Jimin had a wardrobe malfunction, which we all appreciated.
What was the wardrobe malfunction?
His shirt came undone.
I'm lost.
So we saw all his little tattoos.
That was because the shirt came undone?
Yeah, the shirt was initially...
I thought it was one of those Stylish Nuna being nice to the community,
and
it was just really loose. I thought it was just one of those.
No, initially it was tucked in, and then he eventually got a chance to tuck it back in.
Yeah. Oh, and then outside of that, but the ciphers and Uke, the way the rap line kept going and going, and then Hobie went.
What do y'all think about the fact that we were told by Namjoon that, and then they reiterated that these are some songs that they will just not be performing anymore?
It scares me.
I can't imagine what songs that would be, because some songs are timeless. Like you cannot not perform it.
Yeah, you can't not do fire.
Maybe they just meant we gonna give y'all Butter and Dynamite again, but don't be looking for that no more.
Now then,
damn it, you
go
good.
right ahead.
Because we know Spring Day is Zombie Queen, so she ain't going
That's
nowhere.
gonna happen. That's gonna happen.
Spring Day and our song.
Fire.
No, our song.
Oh, Army's song.
Yeah.
Well, none of Army's songs should be
eliminated. So, like, I think they know us well enough to know which songs to eliminate.
Yeah. Are we gonna get a cipher about the Army?
I don't know.
Army cipher?
We wanted a pandemic cipher and didn't get it, but it would be nice. I think when these guys come back, they're gonna put it all out there again.
I better get 3 albums in a row.
They're gonna be different. I think they're gonna be like. And then the Army instills something, the military. I keep saying the military instills something in you. And I have not been in the military before, guys, but I know. The military instills something in you and brings out something in you, either good or bad, that you didn't know existed. When these guys come out and after being muzzled, putting a Mustang in chains, prior to having to go off to the military, they're going to come back with an entirely different individual.
With like a different type of fire underneath.
Yeah. Different type of fire.
But with the same heart. Their heart is still going to be with Army. So that's what we're going to get in return. We're going to get that different type of individual. But that different type of individual is not coming out to just anybody. That different type of individual is going to come out to us.
Yeah.
They're going to come back to us.
They will come back to a warm, welcoming blanket, hug, comforting.
I should say bosom.
Well, bosom. Anything you want to call it. They will be welcomed gracefully, warmly, and just perfect.
I think they're going to come back with something to prove.
Yeah.
Like you thought this army was temporary. You thought, we were going to go off to the military and we're going to lose everybody. Oh, you thought we couldn't sustain XYZ. They're going to come back and they're going to knock everybody's shoes off and they're going to be like,
and when you people are going to doubt
when you say
that
you mean there. BTS and Army because
they
are synonymous.
That is all I mean.
Oh yeah, people are going to say it's died down. It's been 2 years. BTS has been Army is probably chilled and gone elsewhere.
I am excited to see how they're going to be after missing us for 2 years.
Cookie's going to do a vlog every day. He's going to be on there every single day. Like,
let's talk about them individually. So we know V was a whole different beast up there on that stage.
He gave us life.
Cookie was not, he get the performance, of course he's always going to give his best performance that he can muster up and give. But I was telling them earlier, there's something different in Cookie's face. There's something different in his eyes. There's a far off stare that wasn't there before. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I'm sure it's because of the changes, everything that we are all going through. What I do know for sure is that Cookie was ready for this break, quote unquote, for them to actually start going and taking time to get to some other things. He was ready for that. We saw that at the dinner. He spoke up and said this was a long time coming. So he was ready for that. But there's something there. There's something in his eyes that's different. I don't know if it's because it's going off to the military, and having to be in a situation he's never been before as the introvert that he is. He don't know how to fake it as far as being an introvert. Jen, who knew? I went for years not knowing that me was an introvert,
Right. I think Jen is going to go into the military and rocket ships and be like, that's all y'all had? And come on out, skipping like he skipped in. I think, I really do think the one who will go, the one I'm the least worried about is Jen.
I agree with that.
It's never not been him.
I agree.
That's the one I am the least worried about.
Also, he, as the oldest, he's the one who's had to think the longest about it because he's the first one who would have had to go.
True.
Yeah.
But, Namjoon and Minyoongi, they're right behind him. He is the oldest, but they're not far apart.
Yoongi gonna be okay.
I'm not worried about
Yoongi's gonna be fine. He's gonna be like, okay.
He's gonna be like, yes,
okay,
sir.
Yeah.
Y'all know too that Yoongi has never hidden his fire and his sassiness. If someone tries to mess with Yoongi, y'all know that he's from the streets.
We're gonna get some ciphers.
No. And if Yoongi is in the same bunk or whatever with one of his brothers, no one's gonna mess with women.
No.
Anyone tries to mess with anybody
No, you
else,
just gotta
you'll
give
get
that
on
look.
stuff.
I can't. I'm gonna tell you right now. I physically and emotionally cannot handle it. I can't. I'm still trying to get over Cookie that one time when he got messed with. Like it literally took something out of me. Like I cannot handle that. I know I will be no good, and somebody gonna have to pay the piper because I'm not gonna stop until somebody does. So.
I.e., Army will. Seriously, we just hear a little bit. We just hear one thing goes wrong, and they're gonna be.
But
ruined.
we're gonna have positive vibes. We want to send them off with positive vibes.
Yeah.
We want to send them off with our prayers and well wishes, and to just secure whatever insecurities they may have. That we will be here.
It's kind of like if a dad sends his daughter off to prom with the prom date. And the dad is like, okay, have a great evening, be back by the... And then when the daughter turns around, the date looks at the father and there's a shotgun pointing at his head. Like, you dare try something. Right, honey? Try something.
I'm ready.
That's what Army is.
So I'm going to say something that may surprise y'all. I heard Army say not long ago, why are y'all so concerned about their safety? They're grown men. They're going to be safe. They're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. So everybody stop being up in arms about that. And I like this. And I can't think of his name right now. I can only think of the other. They have a show. DK?
DKNY.
Okay. So if y'all ever watch them, one of them is a butthole in my eyesight, and the other one I know
mixed
he's
opinions
Army.
about some of their opinions.
Well, they are in the entertainment business. They are. Now, what I do know about them is they are accurate. Mm-hmm. They are accurate. When you put something out there, it's going to be accurate.
Yeah.
Their stick for their entertainment process is that one is going to be opposite of the other. There's going to be a contrast.
Opposite.
And to explain why we're worried.
One of them, I know he did the explanation for Dane. Yeah. So he's Army. He's Army. I don't care if he's never said it from his lip. That man is Army. Mm-hmm. But he even said, they're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And to that, I say, why would you even think that? Why would you even think that there's no reason for Army to feel like, and when we say safety, we don't just mean their physical safety.
Yeah, we don't mean physically.
They're going to be fine. Y'all ain't in war.
Yeah.
But mentally, you got to think about their mental security, their mental safety, their, and on top of that, physically also, because, Namjoon break his finger. Yeah. We up in arms.
True.
Cookie cut his heel.
Lord, don't
we
put
up
a
in
weapon
arms.
in Namjoon's hand.
That's what I'm saying.
Either him or someone around him will get got.
Please don't let him operate any vehicle.
He'll be like, no, take this away. Put me behind a desk.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, that's
part of why...
it's not the fact that they're grown men. We're well aware that they are grown men, but they are grown men that we care about.
Mm-hmm. Part of
and
why...
so we're going to be worried.
A lot of us are very worried. And this is coming from my own perspective, but I know for a fact part of why a lot of Worldwide Army are very worried is, although Korea has certain standards and, safety, they're not at war, blah, 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 all of that, we know that even if you're just in boot camp, even if you're not at war, being in that atmosphere changes you. Because a lot of us have people who have been in the military, at war or not. And whether that's the standard of the country, based on whatever the individual goes through, and it's due to the standard of the country, it doesn't matter. We just have our own horror stories, so we just naturally have that instinct to be concerned.
Yes. Right.
The perspective that I see it too is just look, even if my friend is the best driver in the world, I trust my friend. I don't trust all these other crazy motherfuckers on the road.
Yes, precisely. That's
exactly how I feel about it.
That describes it.
Yeah.
I know my boy Jungkook can crush anyone with his thighs. Yes. I know this very well. Okay? But I don't trust any of these other crazy motherfuckers in the military.
And another thing is, we know our guys to the point to where we know, as of late, their mental stability has been called into
question.
Not so much into question, but it has been
caution,
tested.
Thank you. It has been tested as of late. Sure enough, with pandemic, it started with pandemic, and then it rolled right into the gravity of having to deal with the agency and having to deal with the country and having to do. So their mental stability has been tested. I'm going to use Top again as an example. His mental stability was in the toilet when he went in. And quickly after that, it went from bad to worse. It's only a miracle that man made it past what he went through. GD, he's never been quiet about the fact that his life is a lonely life. As big as he is, as worldwide as I've gotten, his life. So he went in with not the best mental stability, and then he was put through shit. Same thing with Taman. Taman was already on medication, so forth and so on. So knowing that our guys, we know our guys, knowing that they're going in with their strengths already pressed and tested, yeah, of course we're going to be even more so concerned, because nothing in the military has shown us that y'all know how to protect these type of individuals.
Yeah, there's already
male or female. You have not shown us that you know what to do with our idols. Yeah, our celebrities.
Ooh, a lot of female Army might volunteer certain times of the year.
They're gonna put regulations on
it's
that.
my turn.
I promise.
Sign me up, Captain. Where am I being assigned? Where's my
There's
station?
already been plenty of stories about the average man going into the military and having a hard time. And I'm a little bit insulted that they took that route of communicating like their opinion. And I think because also, you know, other than the average person's experience, you mentioned their mental state. And on top of that, look, they are celebrities. Whether you want to say that you want to pretend that they're not that big or not, they are. And whether, even if you personally wouldn't treat them any different, there's no question that there would at least be some people in the barracks with them physically within 20 feet at all times that will treat them differently.
Yeah, because they got a sister, a cousin, a nephew, a brother, somebody is like, get an autograph, do this.
For better or for worse. The boys will simply be treated differently.
They will, period.
And we already know the culture in Korea, as far as celebrities are concerned, I don't care if you're an actor, actress, idol, I don't care what you... It's a different kind of culture and mindset about them.
It is.
Army needs to protect our guys when they're whatever army is in the military right now need to protect our guys.
And I think the scariest thing is that at least out here, Army is everywhere, and Army can be there to protect the boys. Like we've already said all the time, if we were ever in a situation where I was next to Jungkook and someone went at him, I don't care who his bodyguard is, I'm getting there first to take that bullet.
Yes.
I think the scary thing is them going into a place that we can't access as much.
That is another scary thing.
And we don't know, like I said earlier, we don't know the level of communication they're going to be allowed to have.
You know, let's just call a spade a spade. We don't trust them.
Yeah, we don't trust them. I believe
Let me just call a spade a spade. We don't trust you. We don't trust you to have our boys' best interest at heart. We don't trust you to protect them and take care of them. We don't trust you. You've given us no reason to.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, because I know we're getting to that point, I don't think any of us conclusively found out. I don't think the world knows.
No.
Exactly.
We keep getting report after report
when
with no
the
clarity.
end of this contract is. What we do know is that the guy said 2025. Big Hit said 2025. Hybe reiterated that 2025. And let's make sure everybody knows when the announcement came. That announcement came from Big Hit. That announcement came.
I
from
also don't know
Big Hit.
if that's 2025 December or if that's 2025.
There you go.
It's 2025. But either way, that puts in people's mind immediately. So when does their contract end? Because there are varying articles that say 2024 the contract ends, 2026 the contract ends, which
does
doesn't
that contract
make
get
sense.
null and void somewhere in between the military? Not null and void, but paused or
Nope. No.
I don't think it does.
It does not at all.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, we don't know.
No. Because now I will say the last article that was written is adamant about it ends 20. I can't remember what but they're going by a very popular Twitter account. Very popular Twitter account that puts out a lot of information that Twitter account puts it out sometimes before Weverse even, or they put out a lot of Korean information that we are not privy to.
Right.
And that Twitter account not long ago put out when did the contract end for these idols, these K-pop celebrities. And it was BTS on there, it was text on there, and they put it out in Korean. They put that now what that source was, I don't know. So people are writing articles using that Twitter account as a source But where that Twitter account got their source from, like they put the writing out and you can see it's all in Korean and somebody made that list. But what was that source?
Where did they get their source from?
Yeah, because that source is not saying 2026. And if you count it up, it's 7 years of a contract, not 5 years of a contract. The way they're counting it like it's a 7-year contract. And if it started in 2018, it doesn't end in 2024. If it started in 2019, it sure as hell doesn't end in 2024.
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know.
I don't know.
We just don't know.
Well, we will be watching very closely for any additional news. You guys better give me a goddamn V Live,
Just talk.
a pigeon,
Show
a
us your
phone call,
face.
something.
Speak Morse code. I don't care what it is. Do something, people.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all armies, just continue to encourage all other armies.
Yeah.
All other armies. And if you haven't been or you haven't been a part of your army family in quite some time, this would be a good time to reunite.
Yes.
Reunite.
Yes, because we're going to need it.
And we are going to be hanging on to these albums coming out as tightly as a vice
Go,
grip.
Jen, with your astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
Go,
With Coldplay.
Jen.
Yes.
Go, Jen.
All
I
right,
love the
guys.
fact, one more thing, I love the fact that somebody tweeted that there's 156
Oh, yeah.
episodes of Run and
Yes.
156 days until weeks until 2025 comes in.
Thank you, Army. We love
So
you.
if you watch a run a week, it'll get you to 2025.
Oh, Ultimate Dodo or Dude, I don't care what your name is. You know who you are. Thank you. Brilliant. On YouTube, thank
Ultimate
you.
Dodo,
Every
yeah.
army who posts and sends and creates, thank you. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah.
Y'all make us keep going.
And with that,
now
you know, Army.